Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we have an early start heading to Silverstone karting for the 8-hour team endurance race. This is the first special team race that Silverstone are ever hosting, so quite an important one. It's a long day. You can see we've been able to turn up here, do all the signing in stuff, all the boring stuff first, get that out the way before getting ready for the day, setting up our base, pulling our kart number. As you can see here, we've got kart 53 here. And then heading over to our team base here, getting ready, final preparations, and a nice calm peaceful paddock before heading out for practice. Now the format for this was a 60-minute practice, then a 3-stage qualifying, quite similar to Formula 1, so with the Q1, Q2, Q3. Now a lot of my team is made up of Sam Lovelace, Bobby McGeer and Harrison Kirkham, all brilliant drivers in their own right. And they had never driven the Silverstone track before. Well, Sam had, but not he hadn't done the big track before. So I was the only driver who was experienced with both, Silverstone quite a bit, and also with the full track. So in this 60-minute practice, I opted to do only the minimum required laps. So that was an out lap, a flying lap, and an in lap, to give my team the most time possible to kind of learn the track, to give them the best start. Best head start going into the race. You can see here, first lap out, quite a green track, missing my apexes a little bit here, but just making sure really that the kart is okay. And to me, in this moment, it felt all right. Didn't feel like there was anything wrong with it really. Just felt like how you'd expect one to feel, but. Yeah, so currently just kind of trying to compare our kart to other people, but I already know that I'm going to be coming in after 3 laps, and all things being well, we'll be carrying this kart onwards to the qualifying and for the race as well. But really quite a cool start actually to this day. As I say, the track was a little bit cold, so a little bit more steering input required. You can see that drivers are still coming out of the pit lane here for practice, and that's what I really liked about Silverstone, is that they stuck to their timings, and if you weren't ready, they'd go without you. It's as simple as that. And we were ready, we were there on time, but a lot of the other drivers struggling to be ready on time to start their own kart. A lot of this is kind of onto you, starting your kart yourselves, and the way the whole paddock is set up. I think the way it was run was really, really good. The layout, the format, I really enjoyed it. Silverstone's got a great base really to kind of build upon leading forwards, especially when you're looking at the 24-hour coming up in May. You can see here that we're having to be a little bit cautious behind drivers who have clearly not been here before. For example, this driver in front of us here looking a bit ropey, but we're just going to overtake them up the inside here. But I think they wanted to get an early turn in, so they're going to turn in into us, but regardless, we're just going to swiftly move on, and we're going to skip to the in lap now. It's obviously quite a long lap, so a lot for the boys to learn, which is why I was eager to get them into the kart as soon as possible and just get some laps in. The format for the pit lane was really cool as well, with the timing loop on the entrance. You've got the scales here, get given a wristband for when you completed the practice. So we had quite a few wristbands on us, the signing in one, the briefing one, and the practice one as well, all quite busy. But this is kind of how the pit lane was laid out. So you had the mechanics area to the right there, and then you've got the fuel bay ahead. And obviously if you don't need fuel, you just go around, but you have the you have the marshal with the speed gun as well. So if you do speed, you're going to get caught, and you get a penalty for it. So yeah, that's something you really didn't want to do. But when you lead into this paddock section here, again, this was kind of quite new for everyone, trying to learn the layout of this, and I think it was really, really good. We can see kind of just roaming around here, some people not paying attention that there's karts in the pit lane. This is where karts actually thrive. Usually this is just a car park, but for the sake of these events, they actually get used as an extended pit lane. And you get a lot of time in the pit lane during the race. I think you have to set a minimum pit stop time of 3 minutes 15 seconds, so you get a bit of time. You don't have to rush. There's no point in rushing. The only time when you really get close to time is when you're trying to fuel and you get stuck in a queue with that. But otherwise, we're going to swap over here to Sam so he can get some laps in, and then obviously Bobby and Harrison as well. Which are my teammates. You can see Harrison ready to jump in the kart when Sam comes in. Bobby just observing from now. We're always looking at the timings to see how we're getting on, and just comparing really. I mean, there's about 40 or so teams taking part in this race, so it's a very busy race. And this is us just before qualifying as well. I did struggle to kind of get footage for this event, but especially as there's a lot going on, there's a lot of learning, so I really want to just focus on the rules and regs, the layout, the best way of going about strategy. So at times it was difficult to record a lot of the off-track stuff, but we made it through Q1 thanks to Sam, and then Harrison took us forward through Q2. Yeah, Bobby got up to speed quite quickly, so we used the qualifying sessions as extra practice time for Sam and Harrison, but we didn't want to do the whole session just because we wanted to save on the fuel a little bit. We managed to get P5. We were kind of running in clear air with no toe, and the toe is massive at this track. Ended up being a lot stronger than I was expecting. But there you go, that was kind of the pace. I think we did feel like we were lacking a little bit of pace. There was some teams setting some really fast times, a lot quicker than ours, in clear air. So yeah, a lot to think about, but enough of the nonsense. It's time to race. And with that, I'm going to not commentate for the next 15 or so minutes at all. I'm going to let you enjoy the start of this first stint without me talking. So enjoy, and I'll be back. I hope you've enjoyed the video so far with the stint. It was quite an interesting one, dropping down a little bit and then trying to catch Nameless ever since, really. And this is kind of the closest we got to catching them. You can see just a few kart lengths behind now. Their kart was pretty decent, it had to be said. Just really good bottom to mid, and just kind of gets away enough so we can't sit in their toe. But our kart seems to be okay when we're in the toe of other drivers and when we're being pushed along. But the second Nameless were able to kind of get in the toe of lapped drivers, it just kind of pulled them away a little bit more. We're trying to keep up pretty well here. But it was difficult, in qualifying. Our pace in clear air compared to the top karts was about 6/10 off, so we knew we were dealing with a little bit of a deficit, but when we were actually in the toe, we could kind of match the times, so we knew. And that's kind of the good thing about Silverstone, is that even if your kart's a little bit down, you should be able to kind of stick with them for the most part if you're right on their bumper and you get your lines all right and everything like that. But yeah, it proved to be quite difficult against Nameless, but we did have Ed Bars just behind us, part of the core Blimey team, and it was good teamwork. And as I say, this is kind of the closest we got to them in the first stint, and looking quite pretty in second place, but we kind of stayed in second for a long time after this, and we'll get to that in a second when we talk about the stints from the other drivers. But yeah, it seemed like quite a difficult task to kind of make this up. We knew when we were going to be all out of each other's toe and everything like that after the few pit stops that we're going to have to manage a 6/10 deficit, or just try and utilise it as best as possible on the other drivers, on lap drivers, and just try and get the most out of their slipstream, if you know what I mean. But yeah, this is as close as we got. You can see if we just move on a couple of laps here, that Rory really starts to get away in the Nameless kart in the 32, and just being able to latch on to other drivers in front of him meant he could just start to pull away, because before he had no toe at all and we were being pushed along. But the second he got an assist, if you like, he was just able to get away, and obviously we know that they know how to drive as well, so it just makes our life a little bit more difficult. But eventually I did break away from Ed in the traffic, but then Ed caught back up fairly easy, to be honest. So I gave up the position here to sit in his slipstream, because I knew he'd been able to catch me without the toe, and my plan for this is to kind of just use him to help pull us forward a little bit more. And this is a really important thing in endurance racing, to give up a space so you actually finish a bit further down the road. And it's very important tactics. Not a lot of people get it. A lot of drivers, as I've seen in endurance races, choose to defend, which I never understand. I understand on the first lap, but after that, when you've got multiple hours to go, you need to work with other drivers, work with other teams to really boost your where you are on the track. And this is exactly what we did with Ed Bars. Now I think it paid off. We did have fourth place actually catching up to us as well. So yeah, a lot of quick cars around us, but as I say, because we're sticking in the toe, we were able to do all right. Then Sam Lovelace jumped into the car and been able to keep on to second, actually. I think we were running second or third at the time. We realised that our car was drinking a lot of fuel, so we had to pit a lot sooner than other teams. Bobby McGear then jumped into the car, and obviously Bobby's faster than anything that he drives, and he drove some really good lap times and kept us in the fight. I think at this point Nameless started to lap us once or so, but then Harrison jumped into the car as well and also put in some great times. And yeah, it was a little bit difficult to keep up with Nameless. I think by the time we got to my stint, we were behind 2 laps. Everyone in the team was driving really well. But then so heading into the last stint here, which we didn't expect there to be another stint, but because the kart was drinking a lot of fuel and getting about 20 minutes less than other karts, 15 minutes or so, there was another stint at the end, and in we got here. To try and see if we can win this race, and Nameless actually got a 2-lap penalty for speeding in the pit lane going into the last stint, so there was every opportunity. We were about 20 odd seconds behind to try and catch up, and that was the goal. We knew it was going to be very difficult, just basing off the entire race so far, but this is a little bit from the last stint then, and I'm going to not commentate again, let you enjoy watching a few evening laps around Silverstone while we try and carve through the pack and catch up to first place.
Okay. Sorry Bobby, it's too crackly, it's not your fault. Okay.
I hope you found that fun to watch. In the end, we actually managed to jump into first place and win the race because Nameless had an issue with their tyre, which is very unfortunate for them, but also just with that 2-lap penalty combined meant that it was going to be a close finish if they hadn't had that penalty. But regardless, it's a win for us. We managed to look after our kart, and that was the most important thing. Unlucky for Nameless, but yeah, it's nice to have some good fortune, especially with managing the pace in the car that we had. We were really happy with the result. We thought that Silverstone did an amazing job. We thought the karts were pretty decent. Overall, the parity was quite good for a track this long. And yeah, hope you enjoyed these pictures here. I think amazing photos by Stu Stretton and Tom Fox. We had a great time, and we're looking forward to 24 Hour. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. See you soon.